What's up, Moto buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. Who are we? We make and sell the ultimate products to perfect out your Austrian dual sport motorcycle, a KTM EXC, EXCF, XCFW, Husqvarna FE, and FES. And soon we'll be developing some products and components for the Honda CRF 450L, RL, and X bikes. We build out bikes for our clients and friends, from Sunday Trail specials all the way up to fully equipped global slayers like what RTW Paul is riding on as he travels around the world on an EXC 500. In late 21, we'll be rolling out a full service suspension shop as well as a motor program, full rebuilds, blueprinting, balancing, getting rid of the motor buzz and the big bore KTM thumpers, top end, valve grindings, the works. We want to extend, ultimately, what we're after is to extend your ride day and your endurance and your stamina and be able to keep you on the bike for more riding years. We've got a bunch of 70-year-old riders out there who, with our help, hopefully will be riding well into their 90s. Taco Moto Co. Find us out on all the socials. Go out and get some adventure.
For episode 71 of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, Jimmy Lewis is joined by his co-host, Logan Tyler, to which they talk about teachable moments. What exactly is moose? Problems for small and big people when it comes to motorcycles. You'll get some free riding tips. They discuss black helmets, and I think even some haters and clickbait comes up at some point. Keep listening, you'll find out.
So live from Pahrump, this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. This is our 71st episode. Not really sure how we got here. It's because somebody probably told me I couldn't do a podcast. And then I went down to a Mexican restaurant on Tuesday and ate some tacos and talked about dirt bikes and dirt bike related products. And here we are. My name is Jimmy Lewis. I'm sitting here with Logan Tyler, who's been on vacation for a few weeks. Are you're good? You're practiced up, because this is going to be the Teachable Moments show.
Yes.
You know what Teachable Moments are?
Where you can teach someone something.
No, it's actually where you learn something because something happens. But yeah, same sort of thing. So I like to thank our sponsors. We do have sponsors in the show. First of all, Climb. Climb makes really good motorcycle gear. Logan, what kind of gear do you wear?
Not Climb.
Okay, yeah, that means you're not as good as me, right? Because only the best guys wear Climb. I would tell you the Climb gear I've been wearing, but you would have saw it if you wouldn't have been here on the flat track on Sunday, but you missed it. I was wearing the Climb, the Vented XC Light gear, and it's exactly that, because it was probably about 107 degrees when we started sliding around that track, and I felt sweet in that gear. So if you're wondering how to ride in the hot, and we do have a question tonight about Climb gear, and I'll dig into it more there. What's another one of our sponsors, Logan?
DDC?
No, not tonight.
What?
No, yeah, not tonight. Okay, what's another sponsor? He's looking around.
KTM?
Yeah, KTM. Imagine that. What? You had one big bit of homework on your thing on your trip, and it was to memorize this read. It's a small paragraph. I'll hold it up and I'll show everybody the read on the sheet there. And so, Logan, what is KTM?
KTM is powered by a distinct ready-to-race mentality. And KTM...
Don't cheat. I see you looking at that one
is
too.
the world's leading high-performance street and off-road motorcycle company.
Manufacturer. That's good. Yeah.
North American headquarters based in Marietta, California.
Has to do with time.
Over the years, KTM has built a fierce reputation on the tracks around the world.
Mm-hmm. They have. Yep. What have they had? Oh, you're fully looking. Do you do that in school too? Do you give that look over the shoulder of the person in front of you and see if you can grab that word that they spelled correctly and you missed on your spelling test?
KTM has built a...
Never done that before in my entire life. So what about their remarkable global success? Oh, you look at you. You're doing it again. It's reflected in
every
You're not going to get a job as the KTM announcer guy
thing it
at the Supercross.
produces and everything and every move it makes.
Okay, you next week. Okay, this is okay. We're having teachable moment here. I'm gonna cut that out, and actually, you just take this one here. Take this one that's on this sheet. You take that home, and next week. You here next week? Are you here at the show next week?
Believe so.
Or are you gonna quit?
I believe I am.
Okay, you believe you're here, or you believe you're gonna quit?
Believe I'm here.
Okay, because I don't need any more quitters around here. You're gonna read this. You're gonna read it in the Supercross voice. I'll help you with the voice a little bit, but you need to hit those words like on top. So, anyways, thanks to KTM. Sorry I had to pain you through that, George, because George gets kind of bummed out that we read that every time. But George is a KTM rider. He's riding one of the superior products that KTM manufactures, a KTM 300 TPI 2-stroke, and I'm not kidding. The other day I was actually on the internet looking to see what one of those was going to cost me when I go pay full retail for it. And believe me, they're getting full retail for those things all day long. So nobody should think about buying one of those bikes. They just let them sit on the dealer's showroom floor so they can come down to a price that I can afford when I do this janky little podcast. And then there's Recluse. What does Recluse make, Logan?
Clutches for old guys.
That's right. They make clutches for old dudes so that we can ride circles around you kids. And basically while we're doing it, we wave at you and say, "Come on, try that little guy." Because I don't have to put my hand on my clutch because I have an auto clutch, a Recluse auto clutch on my bike, and it works super awesome. So if you're like Logan and you think that old guys ride Recluse clutches, keep thinking that because they're awesome. But they make a lot of other cool components. They make oil. They make regular torque drive clutches, and they have left-hand rear brakes, which is also for what I think they're for old guys too, like Bob. So keeping on that theme, that's how you get this podcast, is from companies like that. So support them. Tell them you've heard about their stuff, and tell them that they need to send Logan more reads so he can have to memorize more stuff during the week. Are we going to roll into the questions here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you start with the questions. You're actually a lot better than I thought you were at this. Because every time I had Mike Shirley on last week, he was the guest host.
Yeah.
And Mike's like a big version of you. He's kind of old and bald, and he was tongue tied reading those things too. Because I'm not very organized. I just cut and paste them, and I don't even do a pre-read. I give it to you to let you pre-read it a little bit, but. He struggled. He said he's the second best guest host I've ever had, and he claimed that you were the first.
Jimmy, what is a moose? How does it work? Does it make a bike tubeless? If so, what would you have to buy a tubeless setup?
This I didn't copy whoever sent me that thing. So. This is an interesting question. Here's where a lot of times on this show, you can listen and learn stuff, and maybe we're talking below your level because you've been in the sport for a long time. But I didn't even think about it. We talk about mooses like everybody knows what a moose is, and obviously this person didn't know exactly what a moose was, and they actually spelled it like moose, like the animal, not moose, how they spell it in France. And so, yeah, like chocolate mousse. So. I wanted to get a little bit of history on it, so I actually called up a friend from Michelin who I didn't get a call back from, and then I also called up Jeff Douglas from Tubeless, New Tech Tubeless. They make the Nitro Mousse. Just to get some background, I actually wanted to call Jeff on the show because he's local out here or he's in California. But Jeff has a very interesting time schedule, and he's asleep by 6 o'clock at night. So he does a lot of work, I guess, with people in other parts of the world, and he has to have a different time schedule. So he's like, no way, I can't do that. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to solicit some questions about moose. If you have any moose questions, our next show, I'm going to do a dirt bike test podcast with Jeff and maybe Randy from Michelin, just to learn a lot more about it and talk about them in depth. And then, but if you have any questions you want me to ask them or dig into that I can't answer, I will ask some experts, because that's what I do when I don't know something. And so anyways, a mousse it's a foam insert that takes place of the inner tube. So you have most motorcycles have an air-filled cavity that keeps the tire expanded and on the rim. And sometimes that's a tubeless, like your tire on your car or truck. It's just the tire is a sealing mechanism that seals up against the rim and it holds air pressure inside of the tire. That's like a basically a tubeless system. But there is also something called tubeless, and it's spelled different. But I'll get to that in a minute. A mousse is like an inner tube that's filled up with X amount pressure of air, a certain amount of air. But it's not air. It's a big chunk of foam, and it's the density to simulate an air pressure. And it depends on, there's soft ones, there's hard ones, there's ones for rally racing, and they were mostly designed for competition, for racing, where you just couldn't afford to get a flat. And especially in desert racing, it was really hard to have this work, because it's a tough thing to accomplish. I know, because I tested a lot of them back in the day. So it's this foam insert it's difficult to install for most people. By the way, if you want to learn how to install them, go to dirtbiketest.com and watch one of the videos where I drink a beer and install a mousse without any special tools, if you want to learn how to install one. And then you can actually kind of, I don't know if you get to see it in that, because I think they're actually already in the set into the tire when I go to put them on. But anyways, so it's this foam insert, and you put the tire on, and then it lives inside the tire for a certain life, and it slowly degrades, and as your tire wears out, and sometimes depends on how hard you ride and what you do with them, the mousse tends to get softer and softer to the point where it's no longer functional, or it breaks apart, or it won't hold the bead on the tire, and you essentially have a flat tire. So that's what a mousse is. If you didn't know, how does it work? It depends on you as a rider. Some people really benefit from the mousse. Like most of the high level racers run them, because you just don't get flats, especially when they're new, especially when they're properly installed. And it's really drifted over into trail riding, where there are a lot of advantages to be able to run a mousse with a very, very low pressure, something like 5 to 7 pounds, where you would more than likely suffer pinch flats at a kind of more regular basis, and you have a really good traction surface that won't go flat. So there's a lot of stuff like that. And the other question was, does it make a bike tubeless? In a sense, it does, because you don't have a tube any longer. You're using this foam insert. And that's where I'm going to get into tubeless, because I think this person saw, because he said, why would you have to buy a tubeless system? A tubeless system is another interesting thing that was designed by New Tech, that has a very small inner tube. It's encapsulated in like a bladder, and it basically pushes out against the tire, and it squeezes the tire against the rim and makes an air cavity inside of the tire, kind of like your car or truck rim does, because a car or truck rim doesn't have spokes going around it, and the air would leak out through the spokes. And even when you see motorcycles that have tubeless, they're usually a mag type wheel, but the air it's trapped in there. The only hole is really where the valve core goes in. But on a normal spoked motorcycle wheel, this bladder and this tube, the tube kind of rides where the spokes are, and then this bladder over the top of it is pressed out against the tire, and so it essentially has a press fit in there. And I've run them before. I think they have some very specific uses where you can again run really low pressure, and you're not going to pinch your tube. But if you puncture the tire, you still lose air, and you can run some sealants in there, like slime or a Stan's, tire sealant, kind of like the mountain bike. So the mountain bikes are using very similar systems, but they don't have the crazy loads. So they're able to actually just tape their spokes and then put the sealant in there, and it creates essentially air chamber in there. So definitely much different than a moose. And I can kind of understand his confusion because we were talking about lubing up tubes last on one of the other shows. And so it does get confusing. So that's how, you can learn a little this or a little that. And if we do go over your head on this show, if there's something that confuses you, reach out by all means when you're listening to it or watching it on the YouTubes or in the chat room, and we just kind of fly over and we say some crazy word. Ping us, let us know. Tell us how we can explain stuff better. That's sort of what we're here for, right, Logan?
Yes.
Did you just learn anything?
Yes.
You did. What? This is a two-way street here. You're not going to get away with just saying yes to me. You got to answer.
No. How many people use them on trail rides and how low of pressure you can get with them.
Yep. And George popped up in our chat room. So this show, if you're listening to it or watching it in a different location on YouTube or in one of the podcast formats, we do the show live on Facebook every Tuesday night at about 7 o'clock when I can get my act together. And we have a little chat room that runs alongside. And our buddy George just posted the video of me struggling with a moose. And I don't say hardly any bad words. Taco Mike, who is, Taco Mike is a sponsor of the show, Logan. You forgot to list him off. I didn't give you the sheet for that, though.
No.
Taco Moto Co. It's right behind us. Tacomoto.co, not com, just co. Taco Mike actually goes in the chat room and he says, properly installed, the most important point made in any moose discussion. So that is true. That's why you can watch that video. So, Jimmy tips. The fans love him. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Let's see. Does the moose insert disintegrate after a while? It degrades initially and works its way towards disintegration. Sometimes by fire, if you do it right. Yeah, you can generate enough heat to light them on fire inside your tire, and sometimes they just start breaking into chunks, and you get a flat tire, and then it turns into dust. So it depends on what you're doing with them. A lot of times they just get softer and softer and softer. Craig Alberts says this is all an act. No way. Mark Daniels is eating tacos. That's good. We've kind of gone away from the eating portion of this show. Are you hungry?
No.
No, you're never hungry. I don't know how you do that. I'm always hungry. I'm sure everybody missed out. And I'd like to thank Janie, who's my bartender when we have bars available in Nevada. Janie helped me with sound check today because I was testing out all this new equipment. So what happened was we had a soundboard kind of go south, and we had a Mevo component that went a little bit south, and they sort of didn't like. It's kind of like a moose melting. Essentially, I wore my moose out on this show, and so I sent a thing to Mevo for tech support to ask them, hey, what was this or how does that work? And luckily, that's how connections work and stuff like that. One of the guys who was there in tech support or someplace recognized my name and email, and he said, I wonder if is this the Jimmy Lewis that used to put on King of the Motos and works on the Rebel Rally? And I'm like, I sent back to him. I'm like, yeah. And he was like, hey, this is so-and-so. And he was one of the guys that worked on it was Nathan. And he worked on the live show at the Hammers. And he worked on the Rebel Rally last year and producing a live show. And he's like, hey, I totally know what you're into doing and this and that. And he's like, let me hook you up. And I got a Mevo care package with the new camera we're using tonight, which is better camera, easier connectivity, longer battery life, and then some cool things I have over here, this stand and some other things so I can run it through a different platform, which just made this show 10% more professional, but probably 30% more likely to fail because I haven't fully worked out all the details yet. So that's why you got to learn how to do this, Logan, because I just want to sit down here and just ramble, kind of like I'm doing right now. And I need a guy to come in here and handle all this stuff. You got that?
Yeah.
That was a lot of silence. Yeah, that was a lot of silence. We're going to play with silence later. It's another theme for this show. Lots of silence. Okay, next question. But anyways, so if you have Moose questions that are, email them to jimmy@dirtbiketest.com. Post on the forum tonight. I'll go back through and look at it. Or when you're listening to this, come Thursday or so when we get it up on YouTube's, make a comment in there, and I will pass them on to experts if I can't answer those directly.
Same guy said, I enjoy all your reviews.
No, this is John. Just say his name. I like this part. Say his name.
John Hurtado.
John Hurtado. Got it.
I enjoy all of your reviews and admire your career and accomplishments. I know you're busy and will keep it brief. I'm 51 and live in Southwest Florida, flat as a pancake. I've ridden street and off-road for 35 years. No bike currently. I'm going to purchase a dual sport soon, and I'm considering Husky 501s, 350s, and CRF 450L. I'm 6'4" and 250 pounds. Using bike to connect street on trails, nothing gnarly fire roads. Sandy single track, 70% street, 30% off-road. Price not an object. Which bike do you recommend, and what do I need to suspension-wise for my size?
You didn't mention it, but KTM 500 EXC, yeah, all day, every day. Oh wait, you didn't mention that. But KTM is a sponsor of the show, so I would say that even if they weren't. So his breakdown is Huskies 501 350s and CRF 450L. And now hearing you say that question, it actually changed. I did write him back, but I told him, I said because of your size, I said go with the Husky, because the Honda, to me, it feels a little bit more cramped. But then even when I was describing the Husky at that size, at 6'4", generally you're going to have to do some chassis modifications, maybe bars, maybe triple clamps, foot pegs, seat. It depends on how you're built. And that really depends on A, how you're built, and B, your ability level and how you want to ride. So I said Husky, but then when I just saw that he said 70% street and 30% off-road, that actually, there's one thing that Honda 450L does that's so much better than the KTM Husky platform, is less vibration, smoother on-road operation. It's just the way it is. So there is that, and then when you start thinking about it, if you're going to change the triple clamps, you're going to change the seat, and then you're going to move the foot pegs a little bit or something like that. You're kind of the difference in how cramped those two bikes are is pretty insignificant at that point. And I've seen 6'4" guys. How tall is Big John? He's like 6'4".
6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, he rides stock Hondas all day long and loves them. Stock bar position, stock foot pegs, stock seat, and so as much as you can, I would go down to the dealership and sit on them and just see if one feels more comfortable than the other. Because I think in the end, especially when we're talking about using this bike for 70% street, and here's KTM and Husky make that 701, 701, and this KTM 690 and the KTM 701, where if you're looking for a single cylinder bike and you're going that much on the street, that bike starts getting appealing at that point to me, in my world, if that makes any sense. That's a bike I never, ever, ever recommend.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It's probably the first time. Yeah. So Berm Cannon Mark is like right now turning over in front of his computer, just doing flips. I don't want to say it's a grave, but anytime we sit in front of the computer, it's like being in the grave. So yeah, John, give that a shot. Go sit and then this. I think the 701 690 platform is actually a little bit comfortable for a larger rider as well. So Take that for what it's worth. You can't buy my opinion. It just flows out easily. What's the next one?
RK?
Rack?
Rack?
It's the R-AC. Rack.
At
React.
330, the mystery system is the mechanical anti-squat. Check out Fort 9 review of this bike for details on that.
So he's talking about the Tenere review that we did, and then the last two Tech Talk Taco Tuesday shows ago, where we got into the whole anti-squat. Oh, yeah, I gave you some buffing materials on that right up there. You see those diagrams and stuff? You need to memorize those formulas and get that all in check. So he says that at 30 seconds into the video, you can see the anti-squat working. Is that what or 3:30 into the video, you can see the anti-squat working? We discussed this at length in our previous shows. Logan, do you want to explain how chain torque affects the stability and traction of the motorcycle right now?
Logan, this is a audio show, and we are waiting for your response.
Depending on the chain tension, it can affect the forces on the swing arm.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. And so it's funny because another guy who gets like 100 times, no, maybe even 1,000 times more views than we do, said that the Yamaha was built with anti-squat, and that's what leads to its stability. And I saw that, and I did backflips in front of I turned over in front of my computer when I saw that. I was like, man, that's a really good selling point. If that bike has that character, you should have wrote it, but you're a little small. It has the engine character is so good. It's so smooth and so torquey. It just gets really good traction, and it handles good. And it's there might be like 2% of that might be the swing arm pivot to countershaft position. I'm going out on a limb saying 2%, but that's not the reason for it. It's the engine character, and it's just the overall. It's the weight bias of the bike and all kinds of stuff. Mostly engine character is why that bike gets good traction. And we're gonna have some questions about this. Don't try to memorize those formulas now. You'll fry your brain.
Yes.
So that guy is probably a doctorate in physics that wrote those things. So we got into this discussion and talked about it, and I'm in disagreement, but it's funny how many people come back and they trip over our video after watching his video, and then they try to tell me that that's the reason for it. And I'm like, no, I wrote it a whole bunch and I know what it feels like. I've ridden bike, and we talked about it in the other shows. If you're really interested in that topic, go back and listen to episode 69 or 68 a little bit and 69 incomplete, because we go off the deep end on that. Wouldn't you say, Bob? Yeah. You were here. Yeah, it was deep end.
Go like this.
Yeah. So I've ridden a lot of bikes that have different characteristics that are like that. So next question. It's on our KTM 390 in our Tech Talk show. Or there's a different one.
I think there's a different one.
Okay.
Argonetti, Sandoval, centrifugal. What the? Centrifugal clutch.
So he's commenting on our Recluse video. By the way, Recluse, a big sponsor of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. It's for old people, right, Logan? That's what you said. That's not what I said. That's what people told me, but they didn't realize how young I was when they told me that, and how old they were, and now they're all riding with Recluses. So he called the Recluse a centrifugal clutch, and essentially that's what it is. That's what the auto clutch portion works, because that's how you make an auto clutch work, is centrifugal forces acting upon some discs that engage the clutch for you. So you can, I like to wave at people when I'm riding past them with my Recluse clutch as they're stuck on the side of a hill. Because I don't have to do anything with this hand. I can just wave. Wait, Is that the throttle hands? Yeah, that's the right hand. I got it. Sorry. Next question.
KTM 390, the Tech Talk Taco Tuesday show. Galusi?
Here we go. It's Name That Name on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Let me try. Luciana Jabel. Is that it? You try. Come on. You just take stabs at it. We'll get it. Gina Lucy Jabinelli. Okay, go ahead. Question.
Thanks. I've seen the whole show. I've been thinking of converting a 390 Adventure to spoked 2918 wheels. I've seen the whole show. Oh, wheels for my wife. Though I know that KTM is going to come out with spoked 1917 wheels, apart from the needed technical adjustment. Would you recommend it?
So it's kind of funny because he says, apart from the needed technical adjustments, I hope he's talking about, as well as the front fender would have to be altered, and maybe you'd have to like lengthen the chain to based on the size of the wheels going up. He's right. KTM, through their hard parts catalog, I'm pretty sure is going to do a 1719 spoked wheels. We actually got our hands on some. Are you gonna Instagram that photo you just took?
I was going to memorize it or look at it later.
Put it on your Instagram account. You can follow Logan at, what is it, Logity73. Yeah, he posts like 7 things. Never. Yeah, everybody wants you to post. I put your tag on the thing on the show. You should put that. You should put that on Instagram right now and see how many followers you get.
I lost my Instagram account. It got hacked.
So
I had to change the password, and now it won't let me back in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. Well, let's get a new one and let's promote it.
They're free.
Yeah, they're free. Yeah, you don't have to pay for it.
I've never paid for one.
And just in between the cartoons when they're playing commercials, you get that Instagram account rolling, and we'll put some good tech info, and then you'll have all these nerds hanging out and wanting to know more information. Back to the KTM wheels. Sorry for the distraction. Yeah, so we got our hands on some Smart Pin or Vilt Pin. Husqvarna makes it's that kind of street. It's the street bike for hipsters. Yeah, it's like an urban bike, and one of them has spoked wheels, and that's the same sized axle and wheel spacing and everything. So we have them at W Wheels right now. They're lacing up some 16 and 19s for us, so we're going to have that and we're going to try it. And our next step is after we do that, if it works out, that'll just be more for a little bit of durability and to run better tires on the bike. We were going to try 1821s, but from my experience in doing that, it does change the handling of the motorcycle. I did this a lot with a BMW GS 1200. There were some companies like Woody's Wheelworks was kind of the originators in doing this. They started making these 1821 conversions, and you had to change both. And here's where it was funny, because a lot of riders would only change the front. They'd go to the 21-inch front because it made a difference, but then they'd leave the 17 rear, and the bike just did not handle as well as it did because the 18 got a little bit more narrow and a little bit taller, and it kind of brought the bike around. So just be warned that when you start doing big changes to something like wheels, it will affect the handling. I think, I don't know, even just going to from a mag wheel to a spoke to rims or spokes will change the way that the bike feels and reacts. In my impression, not a ton, maybe that 2%, kind of like anti-squat, but it will change it. What does Darren Jones want to know? Oh, wait. Oh, we lost this question, didn't we? There's no question for him?
Yeah.
Or, no, which one are we at? Jonah Alexander.
Yes.
MC Dougal Gardner. Is that his whole name?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, he's commenting on we must have commented on the KTM 390 because he's got a question for us there.
Next to the KTM Adventure 450 replica, why even produce this bike? The 390 Duke is getting amazing reviews and joy from riders. This doesn't feel good enough for street or trail. Odd for KTM.
So he's comparing. Hey, you sent the question. I'm going to answer it. He's comparing the KTM 390 to the 450RR, which is the rally replica bike that you can only buy if you have an entry to Dakar. Yeah. So there's probably a $33,000 difference in price, because I think you have to kind of buy a spare parts kit with that rally replica bike as well. So not only do you have to be one of the best rally riders in the world to get your hands on a 450RR, there's a $30,000 price difference between the two bikes you just compared. Jonah Alexander, MC Dougal Gardner, whatever. I didn't look at his. Sometimes when I get questions like this, I have to go see who's asking them, just because I want to know, and I want to see where they're coming from, and so there's just two completely different things. One is designed for entry level, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying entry level and or beginner or new riders. And one is designed for someone to go race the hardest rally in the world. They're not the same things. And the 390 Duke is a really good bike for an entry level, want to get into that stuff. In certain world markets with licensing restrictions and stuff, that's the baddest ass bike you can get your hands on. It's just different. The bike that they built, the 390 Adventure, and I'll stand by this all day long, is a really, really good platform for people that are looking for a small displacement adventure bike that's capable. It's not a 1090 or 1290 or a 790. It is what it is. It's a stepping stone, and it's not anywhere near a 450 rally replica. Although, to his credit, KTM in their marketing materials does say that the frame is derived from the 450RR. And I said, well, basically, both motorcycles have a frame.
In orange.
Yeah, and it says it. They both have a frame and one. And I think they kind of have a trellis type design. But if you set them next to each other, yeah, don't even do it. So, okay, next question.
Mark Lewis. Surely speed limits in the U.S. are maximum 70 miles per hour. This bike can do nearly 100 miles per hour. So why could you not ride all day on the freeway with no problem?
I think he's also talking about the KTM 390. It does 90, what do we get, 96, 93 out of it. You can do freeway speeds all day on this motorcycle, no problem. But you're wringing its neck, and not that the bike can't handle it, and not that it's hard on the motorcycle. They're designed to do that, but it's just it can do it. It's just you're kind of wringing its neck. But why would you want to ride it at 70 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour or 90 miles an hour on the freeway? Anyways, that's not if you want to do that, there's better bikes for doing that. It can do it when needed. And the difference is when you start talking about like, okay, I've got a 390 and my buddy has a 790. When you're going 70 miles an hour down the highway behind a truck and you want to pass it and you pull out and pass it, on the larger displacement, higher horsepower bikes, you pull out, zip past it, and you're done. On the 390, you might have to take a run at it and it'll take a little while. Just like if you're in what's a cheap small car that doesn't have a lot of, a Deux Chevaux? No. Yugo? No, they don't make those anymore either.
Volkswagen bus.
Oh, what does Crazy Nate drive? He drives what's that little 3-cylinder? The
Saturn.
No,
the
little tiny car, the clown car, the 3-cylinder thing.
Yeah, I don't.
The Chevy
Shark?
Spark.
Shark.
Yeah, the Spark. He had a Spark. Yeah, you have to hypermile on the thing. So. Oh, yeah. Good times. It's the Chevy Spark of adventure motorcycles. It's a capable vehicle. It can get you where you need to go. It does what it does. That's probably not an ad slogan, and KTM's probably going to pull my advertising for saying that. So go ahead. Next question.
I believe this Mark Lewis. I love this review. One difference I have with you, 33.7-inch seat height does not matter. You said you're 6 foot, I'm 6'7", with shoulder, legs compared.
If he thinks I said I'm 6 foot, he doesn't listen. Keep going.
Compared to my torso. Shorter legs compared to my torso. Basically a 29-inch inseam in jeans.
I've got him beat by an inch.
I can tippy toe a 34-inch bike on level ground. What if I need to stop on sloped ground when off road? The factory KTM lower kit only lowers 1 inch. As a 57-year-old that rode dirt bikes until 17,
He's only 51. Quit trying to add ages on us old guys. You're mean.
I'm wanting to get back into the sport. Not being comfortable isn't going to bring me back in. This KTM looks perfect, but I may have to go with a lesser bike. There may be some aftermarket solutions that show up.
Now I just look at the chart. I think I mixed up the names on who. I think this is Darren Jones's question. So I'm 5'9" and 3/4 on a good day. And I have a 30-inch inseam, and I can plant both feet on the ground on the KTM 390 very easily. Although every time I put both feet on the ground, I feel like I'm going to crash. You know why, Logan?
It's out of control.
Right. This is a Jimmy advice. This is a Jimmy tip. If you're putting both feet on the ground at any time on your motorcycle, you have no idea which side you're going to crash to. I saw Bob when we were riding over to the flat track. When we went through the gate, I saw you throw the rudders out. I'm like, Bob, what are you doing? Like, which side of the fence do you want to hit? That's what, when the both feet come out, a good rider only puts 1 foot down, one or the other.
The brakes didn't work.
The brakes didn't work. Wow, good excuse. Yeah, that's a good excuse. So you were using your feet to drag on the ground, because once you took your feet off the foot pegs, you've lost control of the motorcycle because you no longer have control of the rear brake. You have that nice front brake that's actually used for braking on the front, but this portion of the show is brought to you by Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Training, where we will be releasing our new fall schedule and classes upcoming in Washington State in our next newsletter. So subscribe at www.jimmylewisoffroad.com. I slipped that in there pretty smooth, huh, Logan?
Yes.
So I always say, if you really want to put both feet on the ground and you want to feel comfortable, that's fine, but you're going to compromise so much in your motorcycle setup if you're limiting yourself by seat height, because even shorter people can always slide their butt off to the side of the seat just a little bit and put 1 foot down. Another thing I pointed out about the KTM 390 in particular is the seat is actually very narrow right up the gas tank, and then it kind of starts getting wider for comfort. So when your butt's on the seat, there's a little bit bigger of a pad for you. But another thing that we notice a lot is that novice riders tend to sit in the back or the middle of the seat. It's like there's an alien inside of the gas tank, and they don't want to get close to it, so they sit. You see this all the time, right?
Yes.
They won't scoot forward. And so when you're on this bike, if you're sitting back and you try to put your feet down, the wedge of the seat doesn't allow your legs get forced out as opposed to going straight down, and it makes the seat height feel taller than it is. And I think, as Bob mentioned when he helped me write the review of this bike, because I can't write very well, the seat height is probably quoted with the spring preload completely reduced. So, and I think they actually deliver the bikes like that, so it meets that criteria. Because I cranked the spring preload way up on that bike and most adventure bikes in general, because seat height is such a big concern in showrooms. When people go in there, they want to put both their feet on the ground and they feel like they're going to tip over. And you don't want to tip over in the motorcycle showroom because you do the dominoes thing and you knock over every bike in the showroom. Big problem. And then you feel like I shouldn't get into motorcycles. And he's actually asking, and he's got a really good point there. It's like he feels like he's, he wants to get back into it, but he probably doesn't want to crash or get hurt or be intimidated by falling over. And So I always tell people, don't let the seat height intimidate you. Teach yourself to get 1 foot down, get off the side of the motorcycle and put a foot down. And it's really not that bad. And as you practice it and make it more instinctive, it really does work. So I would never lower that bike. That bike's already low enough. You're tiny and you ride it all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're growing. That's you look like 3 inches taller since the last time you left here. So I always say this, don't let seat height be the big determining factor. When we don't ride with our feet on the ground. That's the other thing I always like to point out. If you're riding with your feet on the ground, you're not really riding your motorcycle. So take that for what it's worth. Sorry in advance, Darren or Mark, whoever wrote that question. Next question.
Christian Delgado. Very good and very comprehensive review. Comprehensive. Seat heights is also my concern. I'm 5'5", typical Asian size.
Well, he said it, not us. Christian Delgado. That's the most Asian name that we've said all night, and we said it without really stumbling, didn't we?
Yeah.
Good job. So at 5'5", now we're getting down there. We're not 5'7", now we're 5'5", and we're still complaining about the seat. It's like an ongoing theme. Erica, how tall are you?
Like 5'2",
5'2". Have you sat on the KTM 390 out there yet?
Yeah, actually I did.
Yeah. Can you get feet on the ground?
And one of them I wasn't. I never have.
You never went for the 2 foot thing. So okay, 5'5". I'm still gonna say you can. You should be okay. you're okay. But again, this is the thing, and I have this riding school that'll help you. Actually, when we get our online riding school going, I didn't say that out loud, but then we'll have these drills and techniques that you can use, and it'll be worth the couple bucks you have to spend to make your motorcycle riding techniques even better. Who's next?
Abo Diff. The best review of KTM adventure ever. Thank you, guys, so much. And I already have one, and I'm ready. I'm already happy with it. Could you please tell me the tire you put on it, and is it good on road as well?
Logan, what grade are you going to give him for his punctuation and capitalization?
There was 2 punctuations. Should have been like. So
is that a C?
C.
Okay, because we're going to do some grading later. So I just wanted to just check on the C on the punctuation grade. I'm going to go with D. I'm a little harder. Hey, thanks for the comments, Abadiff. The tires we used were Kenda Big Blocks. Those are what I use on all of my adventure bikes. I have to say that Kenda does support our schools and help us out with my off-road riding schools. So, yeah, good tires for on-road, off-road, mostly off-road, but they're plenty fine on-road as well. Next question.
The KTM 350. One thirsty one. I'm not bragging. I'm stupid or lazy, but I had a DRZ 400 SM for 8 years, and I never even opened the valve cover. Never checked the valves, anything. I also have a 16 FC 350 and a 16 YZ 250F. Same thing. Never checked the valves. So far, they've been flawless. 4 strokes in my world are almost maintenance-free, except for oil, air filter, and chain lube. Again, I'm really lazy. LOL. Oh well.
So you're like 90% of motorcycle riders. He's starting to sound like he feels like he's not normal, and I think what he's doing is way, way more normal than what everybody that's on the internet pounding keys talking about, mostly worried about valve adjustment intervals and, when they have to replace the top ends and stuff like that. So he's just like us. I mean, that's the way I treat my bikes. I change the oil, keep the air filter clean, ride them until they start doing something funny. And then I ask myself, if it does something funny, I go, what did I just do to it, or what's going wrong? And work from there. So what was his name again? It was it's on the other page. Yeah. 131. Yeah, you should put your names on it so then we can mispronounce your real name, not your stage name. But no, I think that's completely I think it's normal. And here's where I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant that when, if you take your bike and everybody's so there's like a disease now. It's like you feel inferior if you don't go and modify your bike. Like you buy something that's stock, and if you don't go and modify it, you're less of a man or a woman. If you don't modify your KTM dual sport bike or your whatever, and you don't necessarily need to. There was a quote the other day that somebody posted that said to the effect that most people that are worried about modifying their bike never use the power that their bike has. and I went to say it's like they've never experienced the full throttle of the bike. I mean, like, use it and then start, tune it to that expanse. But the same thing is when they start doing all these modifications, then they're like, well, what about the durability, and what about this, and what about that? Well, you just threw all that out the window for the most part. Because generally the problem you're going to have that now you will run to the keyboard and start telling everybody about is related to whatever you modified, and then something's different and you probably didn't need to in the first place. But yeah, makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
He also said, Jimmy, about modding your new bike.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah. But he's got a DRZ 400, which are relatively, that's one of the more delicate of the dual sport bikes out there, just in being a Suzuki. And there's certain Suzukis that are just absolutely bulletproof, and then there's always the Suzuki that, my experience, I have a few of them, they just break something randomly for no reason. It's never the same thing. It's like the frame cracks on one at this spot, and you'll never see it again on another bike, or a bolt snaps inside the case and it leaks oil, and you'll never see it. I have two DRZ 250s, and they run pretty good 99% of the time, but then like one little thing will break and I'll never see it again. I'll talk to other people on the bikes. They've never seen it before. And that's the way the DRZ 400 was. I had one for a while. I really liked it because at the time it was an electric start bike and the XR 400 was not, and my XR 400 would never break, but I would rather push a button to make it start, kind of like the TTR 125 I ride.
Yeah.
I like pushing the button, so I was willing to deal with, okay, maybe every once in a while it would break. And then my DRZ 400 would, like, an intake valve would all of a sudden get tight for no particular reason. You talk to other people, it's like, no, that's not normal at all. It's like, yeah, usually it's the left exhaust valve. And then you talk to another guy, it's no, the ring breaks. And then another guy says, oh, my output shaft bolt backed off and ground a hole in the case. Never the same thing. So if you're, and then he's talking about having his Husky, his 16 FC, and those are Husky, and he has a Yamaha. The Huskies and the Yamahas and the Hondas, in my experience, are just pretty damn bulletproof. And if you change oil, all bikes, if you change oil, keep the air filter clean, don't run them on the rev limiter, don't do downshifts at high RPM when it runs it into the rev limiter and you can't do anything about it, you're not going to have a problem with your motorcycle. There might be some little sort of weak links or characteristics. Some bikes have clutches that are a little more susceptible to things, but you're going to be fine.
On the Tenere video, X935R just started looking into adventure biking, and I'm my mid-50s. I was wondering if I missed the train on those bikes. I'm gray and the goth, but you're not going to catch me in a skateboard shop either.
You want to answer his question, Logan? What do you think?
Get started in adventure biking. It's fun.
Yep. What do you think he should do? Well, he's scared of skateboards.
Oh. That's what that means.
Yeah. He's scared of skateboards.
They're not like skateboards.
See, that's the other thing is like I'm sitting here staring at this like small little glass of tequila here, and you know how I get to have that?
Yeah.
You start talking.
What?
Yeah, you have to answer the question.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's not like a skateboard. That's the answer to the question, right?
Yes.
Just get on the damn bike and ride it.
yeah.
Get a KTM 390
Yes.
if you're afraid of the 700, 700. Yeah, and then you can work your way up. There's lots of options for that. Next.
He also said these bikes are cool though.
Then you should just buy one. Like, it didn't stop anybody else. Yeah.
Ron Harthel. How does this compare to the 2019-2020 KTM 690 Enduro R?
Oh, no comparison. Yeah. The 690 Enduro, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Wait, I did that already on this show. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So you're going between a single cylinder and a twin cylinder. It's funny because you can tell when some people get hung up on displacement so 690 and 700 are the same. 701 which is the Husky version, 701 and 700, it's the same. But those two bikes, even though they're both labeled as adventure bikes, probably could not be more different. And I know which one I would pick. You want to guess, Logan?
Between the Tenere or the KTM and Husky?
Yeah.
Probably Tenere.
Right. Yeah. Okay, next.
He also said price, wind, handling, weight, power, liability, and off on road.
Lugability.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a liability me talking about this. Yamaha should come on and sponsor the show. I got a call with them pretty soon. Price, I think they're kind of the same. So Yamaha wins. Wind. No question Yamaha wins because it actually has a fairing. Handling. No question Yamaha wins. I'm not a fan of the handling of the 690 Enduro because I don't know what it's supposed to handle for. It's not bad. I mean, it's an okay bike. It's just not great at anything. Weight. I don't know the weight of the KTM 690, but the Yamaha feels lighter in my opinion, believe it or not. Power. I like twin cylinder power almost every time over single cylinder power. Just man, if Husaberg would have made a twin cylinder bike. Yeah, imagine a 570 and a 570 stuck together like this. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's some companies where Husaberg guys drifted off to that made motors like that, and I got to ride them, and they're pretty good. Lugability. They both lug pretty good because that KTM 690 motor is a really good single cylinder motor. And off on road. That's everything, and I would just take the Yamaha. Next question.
Lila Martin.
Leia Martin.
Stock bash plate. I dropped the bash plate into a swamp hidden in long grass at about 5 miles per hour, and the swamp smashed the bash plate, which cracked the swamp right at the drain plug.
The sump.
The sump.
Yep.
Right at the drain plug. If you are riding off-road, the stock bash plate is not as strong as it looks.
He's talking about the Tenere 700?
Yes.
And the bash plate does not look strong, and I agree with his statement. It doesn't look strong, and it's not as strong as it looks. So, therefore, don't bash it into stuff. I think it's more of a bug deflector. And like for little gravel that flies up or off your front tire, that's what that plate is designed for. I'm sure the aftermarket's going to take care of it. Man, I'm bummed out that he smashed his sump. You know what a sump is, Logan? Do you know what a cesspool is?
Lost me there.
Oh. So, teachable moment here. So a sump is it's the cavity where the oil, it's the engine sump. It's the cavity where the oil hangs out down at the bottom of the motor when it's not being used.
Okay.
There's an oil pump in there, and it sucks the oil out of the sump and then sprays it all over the motor wherever it needs to go through passages and stuff like that. That's what the sump is. And so when you drain it, usually you're draining the sump of oil unless there's that's a wet sump motor, and they have also called a dry sump motor, and that one sucks all of the oil out of the engine cavity, the sump, and stores it in an oil tank someplace else, and then spins it around and lubricates it. And the difference is, well, most of the time now the sump is actually separate from the crankcase, so they try to keep the oil out of the crankcase so they don't want the crank spinning through that oil because it reduces power and it makes a big splashy mess. So that's what a sump is, and he broke it off at the basically he snapped his drain plug and probably caused a little bit of leak. But they make this stuff called JB Weld for that, and I can show you how to use that. I'm good at it. I don't know why.
Zippo Dippo.
Oh yeah, Zippo Dippo.
This review gave me a headache. That's American for you. They can't wait to shut up. They can't listen, and they'll talk to you to death. I notice Americans have strong jawlines, such stronger than most people. The co's that co's every dialogue turns into a talking contest.
Oh yeah.
I want more torque, not talk.
Ooh, yeah. Are we? Is this a motorcycle talk show?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll just get into this a little bit. He's talking about the Tenere 700 interview with where me and Heather. Well, actually, most people just complain about that. I keep cutting her off, don't let her talk, and put thoughts in her head. But like usual, wait, this whole show is me just jabbering. I can't shut up when I talk on this show. And I'm talking you to death. So I wonder how many followers Zippo Dippo has on his YouTube account or wherever he found us. Our strong jawlines are sexy and appealed to all over the world. You should work that jaw muscles when you need it. Want more torque and not talk. Yeah, I'm trying to perfect the talkless bike review. It's where I just stand around and I'm going to start flexing my muscles and have awesome videos of me just like riding over stuff. And by that, I hope that you see how well the bike works and you can read my mind so I don't have to talk. How am I supposed to do it? I don't know.
Go to the gym.
Yeah. What to work out to talk to people and tell them how
Get more muscles.
the more muscles. No, he likes my strong jawline. I think Heather's too, because Heather was in that video, but I didn't let her talk much. So, hey Zippo Dippo, thanks for the thanks for the comment. Please tell me how we can do less talking, more better videos.
Maybe you'd like the Jimmy, the in your pocket thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram. Follow Dirt Bike Test on Instagram, where we have a segment called "I've Got You in My Pocket," where I do a lot less talking. I let the motorcycle talk to you. It's great video content. Next,
Scott C. Great riding and great riding shots. Otherwise, and I'm sorry to say, but you control your wife's ideas without significant mirth.
here we go.
Too often.
Keep going.
They cling with me, and so you're difficult to watch.
Now I'm difficult to listen to and difficult to watch. So I'm a what?
A sexist.
A sexist. Well, I mean, you know, she should be thankful because I gave her shoes that day so she could come out of the house. And then I let her talk on video, and that's like that's nice, right? Oh, what?
You should tell your listeners that Heather is an expert witness at trials and knows how to talk.
I know she knows how to talk. What I pointed out to this guy, I did respond to this guy. I told him, I said, you should see what like the rest of the days like. Like when I try to talk about science and I just get shut down. Yeah, no, it's good. I only videotape the arenas where I'm, doing good in. Next question.
A roque NW?
A roque?
I'm trying to determine how important traction control is and if it is a significant safety feature. Did the riders ever miss traction control on the T70 700 or feel like the lack of it compromised the safety of the bike?
Should we talk about anti-squat? How anti-squat made that bike work better? Our riders never, ever missed the traction control on the Tenere 700. That bike has traction control built into the motor power delivery character. I don't know how I could be any more clear about that. Heather, when the very first time she actually ran into a situation where any other bike with traction control where it would have activated, and she said, I really like the traction control on this bike. That's how good it is. And then he asks if it was a safety feature, right? Like, is a significant safety feature. And here's where I'm kind of torn, because coming from, how many motorcycles have you really ridden with traction control? I mean, not many.
Not many at all.
Yeah. So, and I was the same way. I grew up never riding a motorcycle with traction control. Traction control was my wrist. It's what I did with my wrist. But then we always have to take it back to like, okay, somebody might be just brand new getting into this. They've only driven vehicles, whether it's, their street vehicles or whatever, that have traction control built in, and you start expecting it to work. So my kind of paradigm in that is if you have to turn it on or click it or adjust it, you have to at least have enough time to go out and test it to learn, okay, I like this level of traction control. And then you make sure that when you turn your bike on, that's the level of traction control you get. Because there are times when if you turn the key off, it goes back to maximum traction control, or you have to turn it on or off. And sometimes I'm riding around and I forgot that I shut the bike off, and I go up to something and I do something with the throttle, and I know that it's going to spin a little bit, but I know that it's going to, grab traction and do what I want. And traction control kicks in and I don't get the burst of power that I want, and bad things start to happen. So anytime in my world when electronic stuff starts taking over, I don't 100% trust it. I don't think it's that good just yet to where it can anticipate what, my years of experience and understanding do. But then you come to pull back to a novice rider that may start relying on this because they're not that good with the throttle, and their throttle has two positions. It's on or off. It's like, imagine trying to ride your motorcycle, and instead of a throttle, you have a switch, on or off. Believe it or not, some people ride like that. It's just the way that they operate the throttle. And they don't know 1/3 throttle, 2/3 throttle. They don't even know full throttle and half throttle. It's just like on or off. And we see this all the time. So someone can hop on some of these bikes with really good traction controls and ride the throttle like an on-off switch. And in doing that, the motorcycle takes over, and it does a lot better than they would.
Yeah.
So in other words, it actually does some, and especially now with butterfly valve control as opposed to ignition cut, it actually enables the motorcycle to work pretty good, even though they're really ham-fisted. But that rider never learns whether that's the right way or the wrong way to do it. Well, maybe that rider, all of a sudden somebody says, oh, you're riding with traction control? You should turn it off. Whole different riding experience rears its ugly head at that point. But you can't do that on your YZ105 on or off.
No.
Because it does one other thing. It goes slow or it flips.
Yeah.
Right? So don't get worried too much about traction control. It's that, and if you do have a bike with traction control, you owe it to yourself to go play with it and find out what the different modes, because some of those modes are really, really good, and other ones just don't work for you based on the way that you ride. And the problem is if you don't know how you ride until you actually go play with it and take the time to learn it, it's hard for you to even understand how good or beneficial it is. And if you're kind of asking that question and really worried about traction control, I would lean you more towards a bike with it, because, maybe that would be a really beneficial tool for you to, use and grow with as a rider. Next. Lots of questions now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is on the Gas Trials bike.
Charles H. Clickbait.
Oh, he said that, huh? He said that video is clickbait? you want to know why? Because it says Taddy Blazuzziak's new ride, that's true. There's nothing untrue about that, but there's nothing about Taddy Blazuzziak in our video. You know what's funny? Charles H., I said the same thing to the guy that made the video, Scott Hoffman. I said, that's kind of a clickbaity title. You're getting on the YouTube train. Hey, the best thing about that clickbait video on our YouTube channel is you get to watch an ad before you get to watch the video, because he hit the monetization button on it too. So, next question.
Moto
Ventures.
Motorcycle and dirt bike training.
Right.
Publicly subscribe to you.
Right.
For 1 week.
Right. What do they say?
Thanks, Scott.
It's not clickbait. There's hardly even, No, Moto Ventures is another off-road riding school, and Andre is the guy who's doing the riding in the video, and they do trials training and stuff like that. And so there was definitely a cooperation with us and them to get that video, because if you watched me ride that trials bike, you'd just see it crashing and horrible technique. It'd be like watching a guy who needs traction control ride a trials bike. And trials bikes, especially that Gas 300, does not have it. I have a little bit of balance, but I have quite possibly one of the worst trials bike riding styles known to man. I want to put my feet down, and when I start putting a foot, usually just a foot, I like dabbing, which gets you a lot of points in trials. And believe me, in trials, you don't want points. I get those. And then usually when stuff starts going wrong, I want to sit down. And what does a trials bike not have?
A seat.
Yeah. So, it's bad times. So we had somebody else do that video. But I still ride that bike. I like it. Erica rode it.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is. I also rode with Andre.
Oh, you rode with Andre too?
Yeah.
Not nearly as good a coach as me.
It's very different.
It's very different. No, I'm just being mean, because I'm always mean. Okay, Paul Van Hoot has a question.
More great discussion on rider balance and bike setup. Now I have to remember to apply more lessons. Interested in classes up here in Washington, or later in the fall down in Nevada when the Pacific Northwest rains and chills is upon us.
Yeah, Paul. Thanks for that. Yeah, we do an off-road riding school, or you can go to Moto Ventures. I think they're up and running already. I don't know. So I always think if you're going to spend time working on your riding and training, it's going to be good time. So pretty good.
Infamously unknown. Black helmets getting hotter than others is a myth. Helmets are foam inlined like a cooler. The interior temperature is controlled by your own temperature, same as every color. The exterior of a black helmet might get a little warmer than the white helmet, but it does not affect the interior.
Logan, you're going to have to plug your ears for a second. Science, motherfucker. Do you believe it? Okay, put your earphones back on. Okay, so you did say a couple things that were true, infamously unknown. You probably like to remain that way at this point. Boy, Martin Hackworth would have a field day on you right now. I think the reason you brought this up is because I talked about I wear a black helmet a lot. mostly for photos and other times because it's the first one that I grab and I just put it on my helmet and I go, is your black car hotter than the white one when you leave it in the parking lot? How many black coolers do you see on the market? Yeah, for sure, the outer surface temperature of black will get hotter and it will radiate its way into the helmet, even though you have a foam cooler-like material going between there. And I think once you get going and start moving, Martin, come to my rescue here. Like, give this guy less. I'm not a physicist. I don't know it, but yes, black helmets are hotter. I will tell you that I can feel it when I ride. And the Peanut Gallery has something to say. Bob, you raised your hand.
100 degrees on a white helmet is 160 on a black helmet, but more importantly, the EPS liner, the white foam liner,
right,
is getting really soft at 160.
Right. Well, that may be good or bad.
No, it's bad.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Well, it depends on how hard you're going to hit your head on the ground. It does. I'll argue on that one.
It's collapsing.
Yeah, I know it's collapsing.
So you have less,
but
it's time distance for energy attenuation.
Yeah.
And you're running out of distance.
Okay. Yeah. But you might have a slow speed impact where the stiffness of your particular helmet liner might be too stiff, and that might actually benefit you. I always go down to tell me how you're going to crash, and I'll tell you which helmet to wear. But until you can tell me how you're going to crash, just buy a really good safe helmet, and probably not a one that has 160 degrees into the foam. So yeah, you're right. I'll eat it on that one. Where were we? How do we go off on that vector?
The fellows said that the temperature doesn't change.
It does change. Yeah. Well, so the other thing, how many black airplanes do you see? Those ones that just sit out in the sun all the time?
Black plastic ones.
Not very many black plastic ones? None. Yeah. And hey, if it flies, it's got to be a little bit safer than what we do. Next, David Nitzen wants some names of what? He wants to buy something and he wants names so we know who not to buy from. Okay. If I have an idea, I'll give it to you. I don't know what we're talking about.
Hagard, 69. I'm 26.
Yeah, Pigard, he's a regular. Yeah, Paul.
Yes.
Paul up in Reno.
Hey Jimmy, Paul up in Reno again.
Like I said.
I'm on the fence with Climb Mojave pants. Summer is, as you know, can be hot in the Great Basin.
Oh, it's not that hot up there. You guys are on a field day. It's hot down here.
I still need a solid pants that will shed wind for the cooler months. I ride the most in cooler months and winter. Will the Mojave pants be reasonable in the stupid hot months to realistically make them 12 months pants? Thanks for your insight.
Yeah, in your moderate weather up there in Reno.
It gets cold.
Oh, it gets cold, but moderate in heat compared to here. So he's asking the difference between, he's asking about the Mojave pants, and Mojave is Climb's very vented pant, and so vented it sometimes doesn't feel like you're wearing a pant. If I were up in Reno, I would be wearing the Dakar pant, and the reason I would wear it is because it has it has a big vent that goes all the way down the front of your thigh, and you can zip that thing down, and it's literally as vented as you can get in that zone, and that's generally enough to compensate where the Mojave might be vented a little bit more in the knee or up on the waist, and it would be a in other words, it would go from a 3 to 4 month pant up in Reno to a 12-month pant by going to the Dakar, in my honest opinion. And then even down here sometimes, especially when I'm moving at higher speeds, I wear the Dakar over the Mojave because, like, if it's really vented and you sweat, the sweat goes away so quick it doesn't kind of do its job as well, and you can almost dehydrate. So I can kind of tune I can tune the amount of venting I get by adjusting that zipper, up or down. And then, when I go riding, I always get stuck out late at night, and then I freeze my ass off in my Mojave when I would be better off on the Dakar. Peanut Gallery, Bob.
Just try to avoid black pants.
Avoid black
In
pants.
the summer.
Yeah, avoid the black pants. Good comment. But unfamously unknown does not agree with you. He's going to go black all day long.
Mike Shirley.
Mike Shirley.
Second best.
Does that name sound familiar, Logan?
Yes.
Yeah. He's your replacement. You better read this up real quick.
Second best co-host ever. Logan is numero uno.
Yeah. Mike felt he realized he had some big shoes to fill over there sitting in your seat. He was the co-host on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday number 70. So, yeah. Living the dream, right, Logan?
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Taylor C4.
Do you like this guy?
From what I've learned, not so much, but Logan's call-in KTM read is a F+. Pick it up, buddy. You're slacking.
Logan, you got an F+ on that KTM read. You need to practice. What's coming up next week?
Probably a with Outlook read.
Okay, got it. Yeah, just keep up on that. You like the plus? Yeah.
An F is an F. The plus doesn't count.
Liberty Tree. Have worn Climb for years. They also support the Black Backcountry Discovery Route organization. Man, I wish my doctor called me with questions about dirt bike clutches.
I called in with the question about. I wish my doctor called. Oh yeah, did my doctor call the show last time? How did that come in?
You talked about him.
I talked about my doctor calling in. Yeah. My doctor calls me with bike advice, and I call him with medical advice. So, you just got to find a better doctor, man. There's a lot of doctors that ride dirt bikes, and it's funny because Gardner Tarlow, who's my doctor, I used to ride with his brother. We used to race Saturday motocross at Carlsbad all the time, and with Garth Tarlow. And then I'm through him I met Gardner, who was more of a trail rider, and we become really good friends. And it's funny because he always. And this is what I really like about him. He steps back, and even when I'm asking him for something stupid, like I know I've hurt myself or whatever, he steps back and he always does what really good doctors do. There's what they call a standard of care. And it doesn't matter that I'm Jimmy Lewis or I'm anybody else or whatever. It's like, this is the way that me as a doctor would recommend you to get better, heal, take this procedure and stuff like that. And I've always respected that. But since he knows I'm an idiot and I'm a dirt bike rider, and he's also a dirt bike rider, and he says, but I know you're going to go ride anyway. So, so here's, and Jimmy's like laughing right now. A guy who's been through a little bit of doctors lately, the other Jimmy that's in the house. But he kind of understands, he gets it, but at the same time, he doesn't step back from what he really, just like when I give you an answer on this podcast in dirt bikes in general, it's like, I know this is what I do, and I want to give you the best advice that I can, and I have to, even if it goes beyond what maybe a sponsor would want me to say or what the internet tells you. That's what I always like. If you don't even need a doctor anymore, just go on the drmd.com and then get the best advice you can, and then spend the money to go into a doctor, and then tell them what you read on the internet, and get your, because why bother even going there? And that's what I like about this show too, because people tell me what they read in the internet, and they come and ask me, and then I'm like, well, the reason you threw that in front of me with that question is because you just wanted to start an argument. So I'm not. I have to make a statement now, Logan. I'm not a doctor, and I don't even play one on TV.
Yep.
Okay. What was that?
Holiday Inn?
Holiday Inn, doctor?
Definitely.
Do they stay at Holiday Inns? There's something about that, right? Haven't been watching TV enough.
TTT number 70.
Right.
CRF 250L. Curtis E. Style over performance is the 250cc, comparing it to the 450 Rally or adventure bikes 600cc, and over waste of my time not watching this channel again.
Oh, he's talking about our CRF 250L video, because we spent a lot of time comparing it to, we're talking about like if there were a 450 Rally or if there were a larger displacement bike, or how does it compare to a 600 or whatever. And I'm glad you wasted your time, and I hope that you come back to listen to this explanation, because the reason we spent time talking about that on that video is because those were the type of questions that we got. How does this 250cc bike compare to this, or should I get this or a bigger bike? And that's how we answered those questions. So I'm glad you wasted your time on us. Just keep clicking away. More eyeballs, better views.
Mark Lewis.
Again?
Same question, except for the last bit, which he says keto diet's an excite bike.
Oh, no.
Video games.
Yeah, no, that's what I threw that in there. So, Mark Lewis, yeah, no. Mark, which one? Oh boy, I'm confused now. Read the next question from Brian Walker.
Please reply about why do you think Hondas don't put a 300cc or a 350cc into a bike they knew full well would be underpowered for its weight. It's just that they took the very much
underpowered wimpy Honda 230
and upgraded it a bit. I don't think Honda is into playing games, but shouldn't they have called the 250 Rally a 220 or 200 so people were excited about the power instead of disappointment, even though they might have sold a few less? I know you can't please everybody, but there really should be a strongly powered 200 and very nicely powered 300, not a wimpy 250 in the middle.
Brian, you need to work in a marketing department so you can get fired. Yeah, you have no idea. That just brings me on to this thing, is like when somebody makes a comment like that, they have no idea on what is going on in the background. And I just saw I saw somebody do a long explanation on why KTM is making an 890. And, because there's a 790 and now there will be 890s adventures and stuff coming out. And actually it was Kevin Cameron from Cycle World. And do yourself a favor and search Kevin Cameron on Cycle World and read his stuff. That guy is legend. And I got to work with him when I was at Cycle World. And when all these other people are going, oh yeah, 890, it's going to be this and that and other stuff, Kevin breaks it down and tells you why it's an 890, and he nails it. It's because with this Euro 5 standards and emission standards, you can't get the same power out of the same displacement as you used to, and there's things that have to do with volumetric efficiency and heat transfer and startup cycles and all this stuff that you don't think about, but all of a sudden you go, oh, this 250 is weak. Well, yeah, but since you want clean air and you want fuel efficiency, that's what we got, and that's just the way it is. So it's an interesting dynamic. And so the 250 Rally, I bet you I could take an old XR200 and properly set up, it will make the same power as a brand new CRF 250L Rally. It's just the way that things are. Does it vibrate less? No. Is it smoother? No. Would I want that XR200 motor in that 250 Rally chassis because it maybe makes a little more power? No, because that Honda is so drivable, so easy to ride. The bike fits what it's supposed to be doing. So no, they shouldn't call it a 220. So you hop on it and go, wow, this thing actually feels like a 230, even though it's a 250. You're at that point, you're just kind of playing games. They call it what it is. At least in Honda's defense, they don't make what's and I'm drawing a blank for displacements. KTM is famous for just putting a number on the side panel and making the motor whatever the heck they want. My Husaberg 570 is not a 570.
The 500 is not a 500.
The 500 is not a 500. It's a 510, isn't it?
530? No, it's something less than that.
It's less than 500.
Yeah.
I should look at the displacement. Isn't there specifications someplace I could look at? If I had a good producer of this show, they would be feeding me information in one ear right now and saying, Jimmy, shut up. You're going to trip over your whatever. But the don't get too worried about the numbers. And yeah, it's underpowered for what a 250 could be, but it does its job. And what's a KTM 390? It's a 372. You're getting cheated. You're getting cheated like how many? Do the math, Logan, quick. 390 to 372.
That's
12?
18.
18. That's right. 18 cc's KTM's cheating you based on the sticker on the side panel. Should you get a refund for that?
No.
No. Okay, next question.
Skip Walker.
Oh, this is the one. This is what that quote comes from. So go read this one. I'm gonna have a little sip right over here.
When you keep saying entry level and beginner, I know you are being paid to say what you say. You are running motorcycles for everyone, ruining motorcycles for everybody. When you are this discriminative.
Yeah, that's the word he used.
You should be banned from motorcycle journalism. Not everyone wants to operate at 300%. We need to see things and experience them. So if you must be little people who want to explore the world at the enjoyable pace.
Say it like he wrote it.
Piss off.
There's somebody that actually listens to you.
Yeah, he listened to me. Oh, I mean Logan? Logan doesn't listen to me. So Skip Walker, boy, you know what I enjoy doing on Tuesday afternoon before I get ready for the show? I like going on YouTube's and just getting completely demoralized by, people like this that are just poking sharp sticks at me. But guess what? I have a podcast and you don't, and I'm going to say what I think and you can't defend yourself. So here we go. Entry level and beginner are very, very, very extremely important segments in the motorcycle community. If we didn't have those two segments and we didn't identify them as a certain segment for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, and listen to the beginning of this podcast when I really went into depth explaining something that's common to us that have been in for a while, but new to someone's new. I like entry level and beginner because that's a place to start. That's where you start. You don't start in the pro class. So they're important market segments to bring people in so we have motorcycling so we can grow with it. So it's a feeding frenzy. And because once you get into dirt bikes, and I'm just speaking for myself, I got addicted and I don't want to turn back. I really enjoy riding dirt bikes, riding motorcycles. It's fun. It's not discriminatory. I'm not getting paid to say that. And nobody gave me a call sheet and said, you have to say beginner and paid. No. I agree with you. Motorcycling is for everyone. And I think we're just coming from two different sides. And here's where I think it struck a nerve with you is that we call the KTM 390 a, entry level or beginner level bike. It is. That's what it's targeted for, especially for a brand like KTM that's known for making ready to race motorcycles. They actually struggled with deciding how they were going to come off that pedestal and build motorcycles for everyone. They wanted to bring that race feeling, that race heritage, that race image that they have down to the entry level or beginner level bike. And it's like that's what it is. Now, that's not to say that I don't know and have friends that that isn't a great bike for them. You know, whether they've been riding for 40 years. Like I always think of Crazy Nate. I could put Crazy Nate on that bike. And there was a few years ago, he wanted to buy an adventure bike just to ride back and from Pahrump back to his house in Lake Isabella when he comes out and helps us at our schools. He was looking for a bike, and we just couldn't find one that was. He's also riding one of those detuned Honda 230s, like literally a 230, not even the 250. But it's a segment that's a viable segment, but the advantage and I don't even call it an advantage, just the side effect of making bikes like that is they fit a lot of people. Maybe people that don't have the inseam length to touch the ground, even if it is 1 inch less than mine and I can flat foot pretty easily. And I don't know where the 300% comes in. Were we riding that bike at 300% in the video? I don't think so. But I'm not belittling anybody who wants to explore the world at an enjoyable pace, in your words. Some people actually take a motorcycle and they don't ride it at a race level. We didn't test that bike at a race level. We tested it at a level way beyond where it was designed to, but we also tested it for the most part what it was designed to be used for. And I beg you to go and look at other reviews and see how they tested it. And they're going to use the same words because as motorcycle journalists, you have to be kind of aware of where everything's at. But we spent a lot of time, putting people on it. I put, Janie, my bartender. I always like to call her my bartender. Janie's a good friend of mine, and she's a Harley rider. Doesn't really have she'd like to ride off-road, but it's very intimidating for her. I said, hey, Janie, hop on this thing. She took it and rode it around like a street bike. She went and rides it. She would take her Harley on. She said, well, it's not as good as the Harley for doing that, but man, it's actually pretty easy to ride and it's fun. And she wants to take it out. And now all of a sudden she wants to go down dirt roads. It was the bridge, because we put her on dirt bikes before and they were scary. The dirt bikes were just too much, but that bike, all of a sudden she felt comfortable on it. So it does its job, and she's been riding for a long time. And so this entry-level bike was a gap into, riding dirt bikes and adventure bikes. So something to think about if you're into that. So Skip Walker, who's preaching keto diets and Excite Bike video games and telling us that we don't know how to test. Yeah, whatever. I did go look at his profile to figure out what he was all about, because when he said little people, I thought maybe I offended like little people, like Erica. Oh wait, did I say that out loud?
5'2"
Yeah.
5'5" riders. It sounds
Five. Yeah, the 5'5".
luxurious extra inches.
Yeah. Hey, we got another page, don't we? God, where was the question about the tall people? Oh, yeah. If you feel slighted as a little person or a small person or someone that's small and having a hard time with motorcycles, imagine if you're a big dude like that 6'4" or 6'8" guy. You're really screwed, because at least as a smaller person, there's it's funny because when we get into the smaller size motorcycle, there's like kind of this weird gap that exists, going from like kids bikes. Oh, I'm classifying things again. Sorry. Going from kids bikes to adults bikes. There's this gap where it's kind of hard to find something, and you want a performance like bike, and maybe you're a smaller rider and you're coming off of a big wheel 85 or some sort of a KLX 125 or a TTR 125 or a CRF 150, and you want to go to the next step. And size wise, at least there's some gaps in there. There's some stepping stones. But if you're coming off of let's just say YZ85, you know this, and going to YZ125, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
But we all had to do it. I mean, when I was racing, that's what I did. I went from an 80 to a 125, and you're going from small bike to full size bike. But if all of a sudden you grow and you end up being 6'8", and then you go looking for a motorcycle, you're screwed. They don't make that bike for you. And you can't buy an extra large frame like you can on a mountain bike and all this stuff. So if you're going to get upset, like, rolling back to like little people or, smaller people, I feel for the big people because you don't have a motorcycle. So, hey, Skip, thanks for reaching out. I did reply to your comment and tried to explain what I just said in in some other words. So yeah, good. Let's get to the end of this thing. Let's finish this show up.
450 on board. Oh, Paul Savos. Is this Logan?
Oh yeah. So Trevor Hunter made a video of our YZ450 when we were out testing at Glen Helen, and he asked if it was you. Was it you?
No.
No. Because why not? Because you couldn't go. You don't want to ride a 450. What's the story?
Wasn't in Glen Helen?
No, you weren't in Glen Helen. But it's pretty flattering to think that somebody thought that was you, because Trevor hauls ass.
Yeah.
He goes pretty good. Yeah, he's out of balance all the time. I tell him that, but it's we're trying to work on that. Yeah. So no, yeah. If you get your act together, you can come and do some of those things, and then it could be Logan in that video, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mike Brown, always great videos.
So you could be part of making always great videos, unlike all the other people that are complaining about our belittling people. So my computer just froze up, and I was going to run through the questions. Did we got any good questions that came up in there?
Most are just
not many. It's been a little thick tonight. It's our regulars.
Oh, there's a lot of talking going on.
Doing the best they can. Yeah, So our chat room has its own sort of like little vibe. The good thing is George posts. If you're new to this and you want to join on the Tuesday night show, George always posts really good links where you can kind of research some of the stuff that I just call out of the top of my head. But if you want to search it, you just go to dirtbiketest.com and type in the search bar, and you're probably going to get the answer to your question. There, we have lots of stories and stuff, and I was going to announce some really big news today, but I have to wait another week. I always have big news, don't I? And I always tell you to wait.
Yes.
It's like one of those catchy things that radio shows or podcasts and stuff do to get you to come back next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crap.
Jimmy, you need to pay attention.
Yeah. What? You like the Voice-a-m-tron?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a Voice-a-m-tron for Logan too. I can do Logan, but it's gonna take a second here. Here's how Logan. You ready to talk?
Sure.
Tell everybody where you went.
I went to Washington with some family.
That must have sucked.
You didn't get to ride dirt bikes for like a whole week or two.
Yeah.
It was evident in your sliding out on the flat track today, by the way. So, hey, with that, we're gonna shut Tech Talk Taco Tuesday down for this 71st edition. Yeah, and thanks for joining in. Thanks for doing a live show. Hey, thanks to Climb. Thanks to Recluse. Thanks to KTM, which is
powered by a distinct ready-to-race mentality. KTM is the world's leading high-performance street and off-road sport motorcycle manufacturer, with North American headquarters based in Murrieta, California. Over the years, KTM has built a reputation as a fierce competitor on the tracks around the world. The brand's remarkable global success is reflected in every move, every product it develops, and every move it makes.
Thanks, Logan. You're the best. So with that, we're going to sign off on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, and we'll see you out on the trail. Cheers.